Hello everyone, I am Lynn, and a lot of you were asking me to have a look at the Ewaranon video that's 5 hours long, which yes, I did look at, and a lot of people want to know my take on it, and really how the moon is a big indicator of what's really going on here on Earth. So if you're interested in my intuitive perspective, hang tight, here we go. All right, everyone, so here is the question. It says, Lynn, I know the Ewaranon video is 5 hours long, but for those of us who have seen it, it'd be nice if you'd break it down and provide your thoughts. For instance, you have provided the baby situation, which I talked about, the Cabbage Patch Kids and the orphan trains. You've somewhat explored the flat earth model, which I've talked about that a few times, definitely in some different posts that I've done. A reading on the other land masses that show on the projection of the moon and how the circle of the sun will be eventually moved to those land masses, resulting in freezing of different land masses would be interesting. Thanks. And I know it might sound a little confusing, and I will try to break it down and touch the surface here. So here it is. I saw this Ewaranon video. Honestly, it's super interesting. It definitely poses some mind-expanding ideas, and to be honest, those ideas, they resonated. They resonated as being very true to me. He expressed a concept that I inherently knew was true when I thought about it. And we all hear this expression, as above, so below. And I think it even goes a little deeper than that. You know, when I was thinking about that quote, as above, so below, I also was really drawn to pull out my Bible and start reading in Genesis. And in Genesis 1:6, it says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So it started me on this path and propelling through it, mentally thinking about it, taking some intuitive nudges, trying to get a little more clarity on what exactly does that mean. So we have this firmament, we have these waters, and then we hear this phrase, as above, so below. What exactly does that mean? I realized there is a firmament and it's dividing water. In Genesis 1:7, it further states, and God made the firmament, and he divided the water which were under the firmament from the waters that were above the firmament, and it was so. And so my impression of that is that source or divine light or God, whatever your belief system is, regardless, created this firmament that divided waters from above from the waters that are below, which we see in our oceans, and essentially as above, so below. That's why people say that over and over, and I don't know if people really understand why they say that or how that even came to be. And I also wanted to bring up, I know that people all over the world are listening to this video or reading my post, one or the other, and I just encourage you to go to your book of faith, whatever your belief system is, because so many things that are in the Bible also parallel other religions and other belief systems, and see if there's a variation of that exact story of how the earth was actually created, which is similar to what we read in Genesis for people who have faith in the Bible. So then, whether you resonate with this quote, as above, so below, maybe that triggers something within you as being truthful, or the Bible itself, regardless of what it is, there's both water above and below the firmament, and the water above the firmament, in my mind's eye, when I focus on it, is more like a plasma, but it's still a variant of the traditional H2O. It's just a little different with gravity and a different chemical composition to some degree, but the root of it is the traditional H2O. And now that I've, in my mind, established some form of fluid above the firmament, consider this, that if you look in a puddle, go look in a puddle, go look in a lake, go look in some standing water, you're going to see a reflection. So the moon, being reflective and full of light that's bouncing from the sun, and also within this H2O type plasma field, the moon reflects the image of the earth just as you would see it on the face of a puddle, your face in a puddle here. So in looking at the reflection, it supports the concept of the earth being much larger, and we only live on a very small portion of it. And for this reason, the logistics of sea level, the logistics of rise over run when doing a railroad, they're not calculated. flight patterns, all these other oddities. They don't make sense because of us living on a very small portion of a very large globe. Also, when you look at the face of the moon, really look at it. I put a picture up on my blog. I'm going to try to get it up on the video as well. You can see shadows on the moon that very much mimic a lot of mapped out land masses here on Earth. So you can actually see how the moon could reflect and actually be a projection of what is happening on Earth itself and what the shape of Earth looks like. So, you know, we inhabit just a very small part that's livable, and the outskirts I've always seen being surrounded by an ice wall, but there's even more to it than that. The sun makes its rotation around a central axis. We call it the axis mundi, or true north. And as time evolves on Earth, Gaia evolves through this different astrological processions. Right now, we're in the age of Aquarius, which centers around our version of true north. So what we see as true north now, that's because that's where it's at. That's where Earth is in its progression, or procession, or astrological procession, whatever you want to call it. Earth evolves through these different ages. So now we're living and experiencing what is true for us during this age of Aquarius. So when we go into the next age, and the next couple thousand years, we're going to move into Capricorn. And at that point, true north, the axis mundi, is going to shift to the next procession, astrological procession, melting areas and freezing areas, just as it has done now. So true north will change, all this stuff, land masses will appear, some will not appear, different areas that are inhabitable will emerge, whereas other places will not. All of that kind of transition is going to happen. And then when I was thinking about this and trying to get more clarity intuitively, I get this is why ETs are also called extraterrestrial. Think about that word. When many of them visit or hover into our atmosphere, they're coming from other areas of Earth's terrain. Look up the definition of terrestrial, an inhabitant of the Earth. So we're just saying that these beings are extra inhabitants of the Earth. The truth is there. They're telling you there's other parts of Earth that are inhabited, and these people are the extraterrestrials from that extra terrain that we don't go and explore, coming here to see what we have. So when we're talking about a being from another planet, another area, they're really aliens. So I myself need to be more mindful. The two are not interchangeable. One is inhabitants of Earth, this Earth. Others are inhabitants of somewhere else that have come from somewhere else. So in the end, I would suggest that you watch or listen to his videos. Go to the Ewaranon channel. I have a link posted on my blog itself. And I see him shedding light on a very curious question, at least when it talks about the illumination on the moon of Earth, to get more clarity or more clues of what this Earth actually looks like. So again, I realized I just touched on the surface here, and it's a pretty big concept. So just digest it a little, see how you feel. I'm not asking you to completely change your entire belief system overnight, but just let yourself soak on it and see how it feels to you. Does it ring true to you? Does it make you curious and want to investigate more? So by all means, please leave a comment. Thanks so much for supporting my work, liking and sharing my work. All of it helps me out so much. I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Thank you. Bye.